Hi, I'm Bruce, and by popular demand we have another video, this time of the big lathe. You'll notice a couple things unusual about it. First, it's made of wood, and second is this low bed and big rectangular headstock. It's made of laminated maple. It's about 4 inches thick. So these are pretty much big pieces of butcher block, and the bed obviously is thicker. They're put together with big 8-inch lag bolts. I had to actually tap threads into the maple, almost like it was metal, and put these in. And they're 3 on each corner. That held it good enough that I didn't have to glue it or anything. It's got a 2-inch diameter shaft, some pretty beefy bearings, and a treadmill motor. The motor says it's about 4 horsepower, but it's probably a horsepower or a horsepower and a half. That drives the shaft through this homemade wooden pulley. It's a 2-step pulley, so I have a low range and a high range. And as you can see, it's geared down really far. I do very big work that turns very slow. It's variable speed. It's got forward and reverse. It's got electronic braking and kind of a soft start when you turn it on. It takes a couple seconds to spool up, which is nice. The legs are just scraps of 2x10s glued together and bandsawed into shape there. And with the big lathe and the big projects, we've got big stuff. Huge face plates. This is 1/2-inch steel. I've also got some smaller ones. Big tool rests. This one's off a Delta lathe, but this one fits in to work inside bowls and vessels. Big life center. Some of my work I use a face plate and a life center, as I'll show you in the next video. So this has the standard Morse taper, and there's a piece missing. I usually have a piece across the top which fastens the headstock and the tailstock. And both of these units slide along the bed, the headstock and the tailstock. You can put them anywhere. And as you can see, the bolts where this top piece fastens, and the whole thing is a big solid thing. The tailstock is made of the steering rack from a Ford Taurus. You can see the rack right there. And instead of a steering wheel, we have vice grips. And then that goes all the way through, and it's got about 5 inches of travel. Also, in the theme of big, we have big wrenches, big tools. Okay, also in the theme of big, we have big tools. Some of these are homemade, but some of these are store-bought. A carbide-tipped wrecking bar. Some of these are standard. We've also got a foot switch on the lathe, which is great when you are putting a piece on there, or taking it off, or just working around here, stopping and starting. You can actually sit on the bed of the lathe and work inside a bowl. Very comfortable. And also, a benefit of this low bed is that the main shaft is right about waist level. It's the perfect height. Most lathes are up here. It also passes, even with a pretty big piece of wood on there, it sometimes passes the nickel test. The nickel stands up, we can rev up the lathe, doesn't even move. And I've done that with pretty big unbalanced pieces of wood, and it's just, the lathe's quiet, smooth, solid. And in the next video, we'll probably work on this giant piece of walnut. This piece weighs probably 150 pounds or so, I don't really know. And I'm going to we'll make this part into a bowl, and we will leave this part. So the bowl is coming out of a slab of walnut. Obviously that's going to be very unbalanced. Here's a couple other big things I've made on this machine. These are not finished yet. Here's a big floor vase of walnut. A big piece of beetle kill. These still weigh about 70 pounds each. They're heavy, thick things. So I'll see you in the next video. You can see my stuff at woodart.gallery, not .com, just .gallery. And thanks very much. How about that?